Right now, while you're watching this video, over 130 countries are quietly building something that could make every dollar bill in your wallet completely obsolete. Not in 50 years, not in 20, some of them are launching this year. And the craziest part, almost nobody is paying attention. This isn't crypto, this isn't Bitcoin, this is something far bigger and far more controlled. This is the digital dollar, and it changes everything about how money works. Let's start with something you've probably already noticed. Cash is disappearing. Think about your last 10 purchases. How many of them did you pay for with physical bills? Maybe one, maybe none. In 2015, about 32% of all transactions in the United States were made with cash. Today, that number has dropped below 16%, and it's falling fast. Most of us didn't even make a conscious choice. It just happened. Tap your phone, swipe your card, Venmo a friend. The paper slowly vanished from your life without anyone asking your permission. But here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just consumer behavior changing. Governments around the world are actively accelerating this shift. They're not sitting back and watching cash fade away. They're pushing it out the door. And they have very specific reasons for doing so. To understand what's happening right now, you need to understand what happened in a small Caribbean nation a few years ago. In October 2020, the Bahamas became the first country in the world to launch a central bank digital currency, a CBDC. They called it the sand dollar. Every citizen could download a digital wallet directly connected to the central bank of the Bahamas. No commercial bank needed, no middleman, just you and the government's money system face to face. It was sold as financial inclusion. Many people on the outer islands didn't have bank branches nearby. The sand dollar would give them access. And that sounds great on the surface, but something deeper was happening underneath. Because within 2 years, Nigeria launched the e-Naira. China accelerated its digital Yuan, rolling it out across major cities with over 260 million wallets activated. India began testing the digital rupee. The European Central Bank announced the digital euro project. And in the United States, the Federal Reserve published a major research paper exploring the possibility of a digital dollar. One country doing this is an experiment. 130 countries doing it at the same time? That's a strategy. So why now? Why are all these central banks suddenly racing toward the same finish line? The answer most people hear is efficiency. Digital money moves faster. It costs less to produce. No printing presses, no armored trucks, no worn-out bills that need to be shredded and replaced. And all of that is true, but that's the surface-level answer. The real reason goes much deeper. Central banks are terrified of losing control. Here's what happened. Over the past 15 years, private companies started building their own payment ecosystems. PayPal, Apple Pay, Cash App, Venmo, and then crypto arrived. Bitcoin, Ethereum, stablecoins, an entirely separate financial universe operating outside government reach. When Facebook announced Libra in 2019, a private digital currency that could reach 3 billion users overnight, central bankers around the world had the same reaction: panic. Because if people start using private digital currencies for everyday transactions, central banks lose their grip on monetary policy. They can't control the money supply. They can't set interest rates effectively. They can't implement stimulus programs. The digital dollar isn't just about upgrading money. It's about making sure governments remain the ones who control it. Okay, so let's break down what a central bank digital currency actually is, because there's a lot of confusion out there. A CBDC is not cryptocurrency. Let's be very clear about that. Bitcoin is decentralized. No single entity controls it. That's the whole point. A CBDC is the exact opposite. It's centralized digital money, issued and controlled entirely by a country's central bank. Think of it as a digital version of the dollar, but instead of being a physical bill in your hand, it's a token on a government-managed ledger. Now here's the part that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. With physical cash, your transactions are essentially private. You hand someone a $20 bill, and no database records that exchange. It's between you and the other person. With a CBDC, every single transaction could theoretically be tracked, recorded, and analyzed. The central bank could see what you bought, when you bought it, where you were when you bought it, and who you bought it from. Some proponents say this visibility would help fight money laundering, tax evasion, and fraud, and that's a legitimate argument. But critics point out something chilling. That same infrastructure could be used to monitor ordinary citizens, to freeze accounts without a court order, to program money with expiration dates so you have to spend it by a certain time, to restrict what categories of goods you can purchase. This isn't science fiction. China's digital yuan already has some of these programmable features built in. The question isn't whether the technology can do these things. It absolutely can. The question is whether we trust the institutions holding that power. Now let's talk about what this means for regular people, for you, for your family. Imagine you're a small business owner running a coffee shop in Ohio. Today, if a customer pays with cash, you receive that money instantly. No processing fees, no 3-day holds, no payment platform taking 2 or 3% of every transaction. In a fully digital system, every transaction flows through infrastructure that someone else controls. If the system goes down, you can't make sales. If a technical glitch freezes your wallet, you can't pay your suppliers. If the rules change overnight, you adapt or you're locked out. Now think about your grandparents. Think about the 25 million Americans who are unbanked or underbanked, people who rely on cash because they don't have smartphones, reliable internet, or trust in digital systems. What happens to them when cash is no longer accepted? Supporters of CBDCs say digital wallets can be designed for simplicity, even for offline use. And maybe that's true, but the transition period, the messy middle, that's where real people get hurt. And there's another layer that nobody talks about enough: your financial privacy. Right now, you have the legal right to buy a book, donate to a cause, or visit a doctor without that information being attached to a government-monitored payment trail. Cash gives you that freedom by default. A digital dollar could take it away by design. Zoom out even further, and you'll see that this isn't just about domestic policy. This is a global power play. Right now, the US dollar dominates international trade. About 58% of global foreign exchange reserves are held in dollars. That gives America enormous leverage, the ability to impose sanctions, influence global markets, and borrow at favorable rates. But China's digital yuan is being designed with cross-border functionality in mind. They're already piloting it in international trade settlements with countries in Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. If China builds a fast, efficient, easy-to-use digital currency network that bypasses the traditional dollar-based system, countries under U.S. sanctions or countries simply tired of dollar dependency might start using it. That's not a hypothetical. It's already happening in small doses. And that is precisely why the United States cannot afford to sit this out. Whether Americans want a digital dollar or not, the geopolitical pressure to develop one is immense. This is a new kind of arms race, not fought with missiles, fought with monetary code. The nation that controls the dominant digital currency infrastructure of the 21st century will hold a level of economic power that makes today's system look primitive. So here's where we stand. Cash isn't dying of natural causes. It's being deliberately phased out, slowly, strategically, and globally. Central bank digital currencies are coming. In some countries, they're already here. The United States will likely have to build one, not because it wants to, but because the cost of not building one might be even greater. The technology itself is neutral. It could be designed to protect privacy, expand access, and create a more efficient economy, or it could be designed to surveil, restrict, and control. The outcome depends entirely on the rules we demand, the safeguards we insist on, and the questions we ask right now, before the system is built and it's too late to redesign it. Because once cash is gone, you don't get it back, and the dollar you hold tomorrow might look nothing like the one you hold today. The only question is, who's going to decide what it becomes?